Hello, it's Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about all the media that I consume this month. So let's get into it. So I prioritize media consuming a lot. I love to do it. Guys, at 9 o'clock every day, I put away whatever I'm doing, sit in my bed, read a book, watch a movie, watch a show, listen to some music. So I consume myself with media. So let's start off with the book. So I finished 3 books so far this month. I know this is it's crazy. Always in January, I go crazy and then I usually don't read for a while after that. This year is going to be different. Anyway, so I like to get my books from the library a lot. So one of the books is currently not here. So I have Never Let Me Go, Wild Dark Shores, and then How to Share an Egg, a true story of hunger, love, and plenty. And then I'm also reading 2 books right now at the same time. I'm reading Wuthering Heights. I'm almost done. And I'm also reading The Creative Act, A Way of Being. So out of the books that I finished, this one was my favorite one. This book is set in a little island near Antarctica, and it's just very descriptive, and I feel like I'm literally there. And there's so much that we don't know about the characters, so there's also that little mystery aspect to it. Obviously, the secrets got uncovered at the end, and speaking of the end broke me. I was literally sobbing. There's a lot of great character development, I'll just say that. So I definitely recommend this. I give this one a 4 out of 5, just because at some parts, I feel like some things were just underwhelming a little bit. But overall, it was a really great book. Now I will talk about the other books that I finished. Never Let Me Go. I started it in December and ended it in January. And usually it takes me about under 2 weeks to finish a book, or maybe a week. The reason why it took me so long is because it was so slow paced. And it took me so long to get through it, just because of the writing style, and nothing really climatic was happening. It was just the main character going over her memories, and only at the end did it get more interesting, I feel, for me. So that was a 3 out of 5 stars for me. Now I have this book. This book was a memoir. I was hooked from the very beginning just because this is a memoir about the author and how her father went through the Holocaust. And then she also talks about her love for cooking and how she went back to culinary school when she was in her 40s and fell in love with her culture again. And I felt like some chapters were a little bit boring about the author's personal life. Sometimes she would just talk about a recipe that she made. I don't know, it just felt like some things were a little bit unnecessary. Also, I feel like the author would shy away from major topics a lot. She would get close to very vulnerable topics, but then she would move on to something else really quickly, or just kind of shield herself from it. So there wasn't much for the reader to grasp on. And this was a 3 out of 5 stars. Now I want to talk a little bit about the books I'm reading now, and then I'll move on to the movies. So Wuthering Heights, it's really interesting. I was really scared. This is my first classic book, so I was like, damn, it's gonna be confusing. It's not confusing. It's actually really interesting. And I've also been taking notes in my notebook just about the plot to get my understanding of it. I'm excited for the movie. Guys, when the movie comes out, best believe I will be doing here my entire review. I will be sitting here comparing the book and the movie. I'll be there. And then I got this for Christmas, I think, or my birthday, I forgot. It's alright. It's about being an artist and being creative. What the author is saying here is a little bit generic and not really personal to him, I feel. I don't know. I don't have many thoughts on this book just because I started it 2 days ago, but it's really fast to read. I'm telling you, I'm over 100 pages in. I started this 2 days ago. Okay, we can get the books out the way now. Now let's talk about movies. I started the year off with Avengers Endgame. My brother was randomly watching it, and he's a huge Marvel fan, so I just decided to join him, and it was actually pretty good. I liked it for my first movie of the year. Now, I'm not gonna go into every single movie I watched because that's gonna be this is gonna be a movie video at this point, right? So, I'm just gonna talk about the movies that are my favorite, that I enjoyed a lot this January. The second movie of the year that I watched that I actually really loved was Chef. I did not expect to love it that much. It was a movie about how the chef opens up a food truck, and it was really, I thought, okay, so it's way more than that. First of all, it's immersed with culture, and second of all, it's just a story about really being authentic with what you do and doing what you love. And then you see a father and son relationship that we see develop. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation. I actually read the book and I also watched the movie, obviously, since it came out. And I actually really enjoyed it. I'm not a big rom-com lover, and I actually wrote about this on my Substack if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, I actually really like this. I'm telling you guys, I'm not a rom-com lover. Even I did a video about like my books that I read, and there were some rom-com books, and I was like, guys, no, this is not for me. Rom-coms are not my thing. This movie was really good. I love the cinematography, the acting. The acting was just so organic and playful, and it was perfect for the tone of the film. There was also the build-up, the slow burn, and then the ending, and then I loved it, guys. Then Before Sunset. So I've officially watched all the movies. The second one I watched last. I watched it all in jumbled order. I don't know. This one I think is my favorite out of the trilogy because this is where we get to see the middle. Like, we see the introduction in the first movie, and now they're reconnecting, right? When they first meet again, the two main characters, after not seeing each other for 9 years in Paris, at first they're a little awkward, but then they go back to talking exactly how they used to talk. And I feel like they just talked about much more deeper topics than in the first movie when they were just figuring out the other person, but now they're just trying to know deeper and trying to see how this person changed within the 9 years. I saw this international film. It was my first international film of the year. It's called Divines. It's French, and it was really random. I was just scrolling on Netflix and I just found it and I just decided to watch it. It was so interesting. It was about a girl who gets involved with some sketchy business, and it shows how that takes an impact on an individual and her family life, and then her friendships as well. The acting was amazing. The relationships were so complex. The ending was just, damn, like, oh my gosh. Now, I love the Oscars. I love movies. And Sinners got 60 nominations. So I was like, okay, I gotta watch this now. So I watched Sinners, and damn, that was a really good movie. What I loved the most about the movie was the aspect ratios. When the screen would widen, oh my gosh, I would actually get goosebumps. And just the entire storyline was so interesting and unique and everything. So I really loved it, and I can't wait to see them win the well-deserved Oscars. Now, my second favorite movie that I watched this month, and I think it's one of my favorite movies now in general, like, I actually loved it, was Singing in the Rain. I actually watched the musical back in, I think this was 2022. Oh my gosh, guys, this movie was a masterpiece. No wonder it's so iconic. The actors were amazing. Also, all the dancing, I don't see actors doing that now. They were in a whole different game back then. It was so funny. The humor, the costumes, the lighting, the singing, the dancing, the acting, everything was amazing. No wonder it's iconic. No wonder it's a masterpiece. No wonder so many movies reference this movie. Now, I got some more movies that I love, but unfortunately, I have to move on, or else I'm going to be rambling about movies this entire video, and this is not what the video is about, guys. Now, we're going to talk about shows. I started the year off with the Stranger Things finale. I had, like, mixed opinions about it, honestly. I feel like the ending was a little bit underwhelming. There were so many moments where it could have been so much more climatic. Spoiler alert. I think when Hopper thought that he shot 11, that should have been, like, if that was real, the entire world would have been like, oh my gosh, what happens now? What happens now? But he was hallucinating, so I was like, okay, damn, right? I feel like that would have been such a huge obstacle in the story to overcome. The 1 hour happy ending, it was like, ugh, like, this could have been 25 minutes max. The second movie that see how I talk about movies so much that second show that I watched is I Love LA. It's a satiric comedy about influencers in LA. It's made by Rachel Sennett and she stars in it, and then there's also Odessa A'zion. I've loved Odessa's work since Grand Army. I'm still waiting for season 2 anyways, but about I Love LA, it was, again, so amazing to watch. I'm sad that the episodes were only 30 minutes long and there was only 8 episodes. Like, I want more. Can the second season of this come faster? And now to wrap up my shows, I'm currently binging Two Broke Girls. It's a really cute show. I'm on season 4 right now. Yeah, I've just been zooming past the episodes. It's so funny. I love a little bit of dark humor. Characters are just so witty and sassy. Now, I was gonna talk about some Substack articles that I've loved, but low-key, I just like to scroll on Substack. Yeah, I'll put up some articles that I made because I love the media that I make. I consume it as well, so I don't know, put it somewhere here. Now I'm gonna talk about music. Here are my top artists of the month. We have Kelly Uchis, Lana Del Rey, and then Amy Winehouse. And then we scroll some more. We have Fleetwood Mac, Ariana Grande, Ray, Lenny Kravitz, Sade, I think that's how you say her name. Addison Rae, ABBA. Now let's talk a little bit about YouTube, because guys, as a YouTuber, I love watching other YouTubers, so we're gonna talk about it. First of all, I like to watch, I've been working out, so I watch Move with Nicole. I was hesitant to include her because like I technically only watch her workouts. Obviously, I don't watch for pleasure, I guess, but I think she's my most watched YouTuber, so might as well put her here. I love her workouts. I feel the burn when I do her workouts. I've also started watching New York Times Cooking, where they just go to different food places, like really random, and kind of see like a day in that person's life or that business's life. So I watched one about popcorn in sports arenas, which was interesting to know about. I didn't know that they wake up at 3 in the morning to make popcorn. Like, I don't think it's, no, sorry, it's like 9 in the morning, my bad. And I also watched one about a sorority chef, which was interesting as well. And I also watched, there was one interesting one. There was one about a bodega owner. But yeah, I love watching about people's lives. Speaking of people's lives, I also watched Drew Binsky. Like, I just love, you know, a nice like 30-minute video about some place in the world. I watched one about Eritrea. I watched one where he went to an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood in New York. I watched one about, where does this guy go? He goes everywhere. And I also watched Anne Lore. I think that's how you say her name. She's this writer in France, and I think that's just so inspiring. And I'm like, damn, that's so cool. And her videos are very peaceful, and you know, I really feel like I'm there with her. I also like to watch Mina Lee. She's a video essay girl, and I actually watched one video about WALL-E. I didn't think that somebody could say so much about the movie WALL-E, but it was really interesting. It was like about how WALL-E and like technology in our world, and it was like, damn, this is some really good stuff. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys will stay tuned for some more media consumption reviews, and maybe I'll talk about movies instead, because I clearly have a lot to say about movies. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.